In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus laying in the tech zone.
Welcome back to the show. Last segment of the show. I can't believe it's almost over. But I told you in the beginning how my guest that I'm having on right now, Laila Shabir, is just an awesome person. Love her story, love her drive, love her determination. She is so instrumental to the gaming world. You have no idea. She's going to go down to me, I think, in the Game Hall of Fame, what she's doing right now with these young ladies. I'm telling you. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? See, she's dying to get back in and chat with me. So Laila, let's talk about now. You have the company up and going.
Mm-hmm.
When did you decide, okay, I want to have this as a platform for young ladies out there. I want them to get into the dev part of gaming, get them to use their creative mind. When did you decide to make that route, or take that route? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely the first summer camp. So like I was saying, it was really impossible to find girls, and everyone kept telling me girls don't want to make games. So part of my economics training is empirical research. So our first summer camp was supposed to help us with that research, because if I'm making educational games and half the kids out there are just not interested in games, then it's not the most efficient way to do this. And so what ended up happening, we decided to do one summer camp. And it would just be here in the Bay Area, the closest location to us. And as soon as camp started, the reaction that we saw in the girls and the families and the emails that we got were just so emotional. Like, this isn't what I expected at all. I mean, it's just a summer camp. In my head, I was like, this is just a summer camp. But it was so much more to them. And it was so much more to the women in the industry who were, tweeting us and emailing us and telling us, I wish this existed when I was younger. I would have, I might have chosen a different life trajectory. Or I wish this existed when I was younger. I would have met so many other girls who are just like me and wouldn't have to struggle all these years to tell myself that I belong here. And then just watching the girls. I mean, the last day of camp was so emotional. We were all crying. It's supposed to be like a coding boot camp, but we were crying because, we weren't going to see each other for another year. And the girls had made all these new friends. A lot of them only had other guy friends who they played with. I mean, in their class, they were boys or their brothers or their fathers. But now they had a community of girls that were just like them. And they felt really revalidated and really confident in who they are. And they knew that there was a place for them in the industry, especially after going on field trips and meeting other women that were already working there.
Wow.
So I think those 3 weeks were not just transformational for those girls. They were completely transformational for me. I mean, like I said, it was hard for me to relate because if I was a young girl, I wouldn't have ended up at that camp because I was so different. But then that's the whole point of perspectives. Meeting them made me empathize with their struggle and the things they're going through, because we're all struggling in our own different ways. And if I can help one community, one group, reach their potential through this, then there's absolutely a need and a place for girls make games. And so that's when we decided, I went full time on it. It was supposed to be a side thing, but then we went on the road. So after the Bay Area, we went to Seattle, Seattle, Austin, Boston. And from then on, people just started emailing us from all over the world, and we went global.
Wow.
We went to Australia, went to Sydney, Melbourne. I physically traveled to these places to meet these girls. And now our curriculum is available online, so people can just train themselves and run these workshops on their own.
That is super cool. So what year was the first Girls Make Games?
2014, actually, exactly 4 years ago.
4 years ago. And I'm glad you told that story about the Twitter, because the Twitter gets a bad rap sometimes. People act up on the Twitter sometimes, but it's good to see that one's reached out to give you some accolades and also to give you some props of what you're doing with the young ladies out there. And so glad that you shared that story. And being from the Bay Area now, I mean, Laila, you're hip, you're cool, you know about the trends. You got to pronounce it the right way. You got to pronounce it the right way, right? The Yay area, right? Not the Bay Area, but the Yay area, right? Yeah, for E40, if E40 is listening, he'll be like, oh, yeah, the Yay area. So, yeah, definitely. But no, I really appreciate hearing that story, because that really just think about it, Layla, if, even though that there's other organizations out there that's doing coding and things like that, but when I look at yours, that summer camp, I mean, that just had to just bring a lot of people together, different cultures, different nationalities, and just working together. And that had to be just, what were some of the creative things that came out of the coding camp? Can you share with that, or is it an NDA? We can't talk about it.
Absolutely. I think definitely some of the best things that come out of the camp are the games. So the way the camp is structured is we break the camp up into teams. So you're not making an individual game. You're working with 3 or 4 other girls to make a team game. And that way you function like an independent game studio. We get you contractors, we get you artists and musicians that help you out. We help you with your narrative, so you get to write a story. And to put all of this together, you have to code. So the coding is fundamental, but it's not necessarily the core of the camp. The core of the camp is your game idea, your design, your story that you're telling. And I think girls just light up when they hear that, because they think coming into camp it's just going to be coding all day, but they get to imagine and dream and talk and fight for their idea and come up with something new. So one of the things that really stands out to me every time is the creativity behind the games is just stuff that you don't see in the market. I mean, that's one of the things when people ask me how are girls going to change the industry, is that they're making some of the most unique games that I've ever come across. They're tackling social change through games, and that's not something that you would expect 10 or 12-year-olds to be thinking about. I mean, we've had girls making games about helping their family. So we had a young girl in Australia whose parents were going through a difficult time, which we didn't know at that time. Until the end of camp, we had no idea. So once we saw their game and they presented that the game had 2 levels. The first level had a tree in the backyard, and all you needed to do was punch the tree really hard. So punching the tree would get you points. And so we asked her, like, what is the purpose of this? And she's like, sometimes you're just so frustrated that you just want to punch something. It feels good. So we got that. And then the second level was a candy room where you can eat all the candy in the world and never, get sick or gain weight or any of that.
I want to go to that room, because when I look at a piece of candy, it's like opening up a can of biscuits. You know what I mean on me? So
yeah. So she's thinking, and so we asked her, like, what motivated you to make this game? And she's like, well, my mom has been really stressed. I wanted to make a game for her that she could play. And then we find out at the end her parents had recently separated. And it is true the parents were going through a difficult time, but this 10-year-old could see that and wanted to do something to help. So she didn't want to make a game for fun. She wanted to make a game for a purpose. And that's something so powerful, and it's recurring. We see this over and over at camp, where girls are making games for their friends, or they're making games for, we had a girl make a game for her sister with Down syndrome at camp last year. So that's a recurring theme, and I think we could definitely use that, a lot more of that in the world. If we're playing games anyway, why not also play games that can help become better versions of ourselves, or help alleviate some of the pain that the world is in,
That's so true.
Yeah.
No, and that makes a lot of sense. And what happens to these games after the girls make them? Do they get to show them off at school and be like, hey, this is what I made. Check it out. This is what I did this summer.
So the girls get to keep their games, but then there's also a really cool thing at the end of camp. So we run these 8 to 10 camps around the country, and there's all these teams, about 50 teams that compete for something called the grand prize, and the grand prize is getting your game published. So top 5 teams that we select are flown out to the Bay Area. They pitch their games to some really cool judges. I mean, this year's judges are Sean Layden, Phil Spencer, and a whole bunch of other cool people. And they present their game sort of like Shark Tank, where they pitch their product. And one winning title gets their game kickstarted, and then part of their prize is working with us for a whole year worth of mentorship and professional development of their game. And at the end, the game gets published on all kinds of platforms. Like we have our games on Steam, there are games on Google Play and iOS, and hopefully on PlayStation and Xbox one day.
That is super cool. I mean, those girls get a chance to have something and just be like scoreboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and what I love about this is because we see the underrepresented market of women when it comes to developing. I know there's some pretty pretty cool rock stars over at Sony. And yeah,
because
do
the games
things.
that the girls are making are interesting to other girls. So sometimes we have these new campers that come in and they find out about the camp because they played one of the girls' games, and they're like, "That's my favorite game." So I wanted to go to camp to make a game like that. So their favorite games are not like these massive AAA titles. They're actually really in love with other games that are made by girls like them. I guess perspective, right? So young girls understand other young girls, and they're making the games that are interesting to them.
That makes sense. That makes sense. So when it comes to the future, what do you got? What do you got going on? Anything you can reveal about what's going on? What's happening like within the next few weeks or so? Can you share that with us?
Yeah. So July is coming up. It's my favorite time of the year. Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be hundreds of girls making games, descending on, at Girls Make Games camps and locations around the country. And for the next 3 weeks, actually for the 3 weeks from July 9th to 27th, they're going to learn all about game development, go on field trips, meet awesome speakers, and then make new friends and make some games. But beyond our summer camp, I mean, this is just one of those things where we can't scale the program the way that it's set up. So I can't have every girl who ever wants to make a game go through camp. I mean, that would be great, but I don't know how to make that happen. So our really big project that we're working on is getting our camp online and making it completely free. So we're going to take all of our curriculum, and we're working with some really great partners, including Google Play and PlayStation and Xbox, to make this happen. So we're making tutorials and modules and teacher helper guides, all kinds of things. If you're a girl who wants to learn how to make a game, or if you're a teacher or a parent who has a daughter, niece, friend, neighbor who's interested in making games, the Girls Make Games portal would be the place to go. So then you can meet all these awesome women in the industry, you can learn how to make your own game, and you can attend an event that's actually held online. So we'll be doing AMAs and things like that online as well.
Awesome. And what's the best website to go to? Is it girlsmakegames.com?
Yes, that's correct. So the portal on there is under development. So we have an alpha that's out there, but we're currently working on that.
That seems amazing. Make me want to sneak into a camp to find out what all these great girls are doing, making these games and everything. I mean, that's amazing. Just the creativity, and think about the time in which we live in. You're talking about solving social problems. Now this is a challenge that I put to all my colleagues out in the media that I know and that I know personally. This is the stuff we need to talk about. This is what we need to talk about. We don't need to talk about all the divisiveness that's going on in the world. We need to talk about great stories like this, because this is it. I mean, this is amazing what these girls are doing, and Laila and her team being at the forefront. It is truly amazing. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox right now, Laila, and stop preaching. But, I wanted to find out too, we kind of touched on it a little bit about when the ESA honored you. Talk about getting that email or that call and just the emotions you went through by being recognized by the Entertainment Software Association.
So, yeah, I was actually in Canada. I was in Canada for one of our largest workshops ever. We were teaching 200 girls in Toronto with Thomson Reuters. And I had a call with Anastasia, the director of ESA Foundation, and she told me about it. And I was just like, are you guys sure? Because it just, like I said, I still continue to feel like a little bit of an outsider, because I do come from outside the games industry. I didn't grow up thinking I wanted to do this, and yet here I am. And at this event with all of these leaders from the entire games industry, I was going to be front and center and being awarded for something that I feel like I've only just gotten started in. But Anastasia, she's amazing, and she just said, you belong here and you deserve this and everything. And it's just, I still definitely feel like, what just happened? But then I think the important thing to do, and the way I've been able to get through it, is to, instead of shine the spotlight on myself, when the spotlight shines on me, it shines on the girls.
Absolutely.
And a lot of women, I think generally, I would say women, we struggle with shining a spotlight on ourselves because we think I'm not worthy, or, I'm not there yet. So if we can think about sharing that spotlight, or if we can lift other people up with that spotlight. So that's basically what's happening here is after the 19 night event, a lot of other bigger companies and studios reached out to us and wanted to collaborate. And what that means is that a lot more girls are now going to be able to go to the camp and have a camp in their city or a workshop in their city. And that wouldn't have happened without the award. So repurposing it in my head really, really helped.
Now that's, and I saw it online and I was so happy. I was like, wow, I know her. I had a chance to meet her. And I similarly have the same how you feel about, the video game industry and everything. I had an opportunity a few months back to go up to Sony Interactive Entertainment in the Bay Area PlayStation and had opportunity to share my story on Global Accessibility Awareness Day. And when I was up there giving like my little talk about my experience with gaming and just my story, I was like, I never thought in a million years that I'll be up here sharing my story. It's like, because like you, my background is in journalism, media, and also being a musician. But now, to, be into the video gaming realm, it kind of blows you away. So when you said that, it kind of took me back, like, wow, how did I get here? So, just the great people. And it's awesome to be embraced by ones like Sean Layden, like Phil Spencer, and the responsibilities that they have to even know who you are personally, but not only that, to say, hey, we're behind what you're doing. We want to help you out.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Yeah. How does that make you feel, when you, to have the backing of those heavyweights?
I mean, it's definitely incredibly validating. And it's also, it reinforces my belief that this is where I was meant to be, to be in the games industry, to be a part of the future of entertainment, the future of education. I truly believe the future of education and entertainment is in games. And the more I meet the leadership in the industry and the people behind it, the more that's reinforced. Because without these leaders, like you said, highlighting our work or supporting our work, it would be impossible to get to the community. So Sean saying, hey, you should host demo day at Girls Make Games, or Sean inviting other judges to host at PlayStation, it's been really insane. I mean, I live 20 minutes away from PlayStation, and I never thought that we would have a camp there, and that's actually one of our biggest camps now. We have a camp at Xbox, and that's one of our other bigger camps in Seattle. I think it's very hard for us to empathize with the burdens that they have. They have,
absolutely,
they're running these teams, and they're always the face behind the success and the failure of the things that they face. And for them to still, like you said, take the time to get to know like you and me and all the people around them personally, it's just really incredible. It's very admirable, and I really, really appreciate all of their support. It makes me want to become a better person and be worthy of that, of their support.
That is so true. And I'll tell you a funny story. Sometimes I have this, when I go off into a tangent and tell stories on the air, so I'm going to do one right now too. It was right after I interviewed you at PSX, and you gave me that wonderful t-shirt that I promise I'm going to fit into one day. I need to drop about 30 more pounds, and I'm definitely going to wear it. I'm going to wear it on the air, Laila. But here's a funny story. I just got off interviewing you, and I went to Josh Schwab, from Daggers. I went to his booth and spent some time with him. And while I'm there, I'm breaking down my camera equipment, and I see Sean. Sean shows up. Sean has his bodyguards. I wouldn't go close to him, and I wasn't going to bother him. So I was putting our stuff together, and Sean said, "Hey, Paul, thanks for coming last night. That's our global accessibility meetup that we had, accessibility meetup." And I told my wife, Sean remembered my name. I'm never going to wash my ear again. I'm not. But it really is surreal. Really is surreal. You talk about the burdens that they all have, and Sean is just like salt to the earth and salt of the earth. Just the way he embraces things, and it's an amazing. And you and I can talk for hours about this and everything. But before I let you go, my dear, is there anything else you'd like to articulate out there to the viewer, to the listener, about Girls Make Games or anything we didn't touch upon?
Yeah, I think the part that I talked about the portal, that was really what I wanted to get out, because it's something that we're putting a lot of our heart and a lot of our sweat and tears into. And I'm hoping that it'll be the answer for people that, are emailing us and saying, hey, is your program coming to my city? And unfortunately, for so many of them, we're always like, we're so sorry, we can't come to your city. We're a very small team. But with the online summer camp or the online, game dev course, anyone can learn how to make a game anywhere in the world. And in fact, that's one of the most important things that I think has come out of everything that we've been doing, the curriculum that we've developed. It also answers the question, why not boys? What about boys who want to learn how to make games and there's no resources for them? We can always point to a website and say, hey, this course is open and free for all genders, for all ages. You just need to, have the desire to want to make a game. So it's open for everyone.
Awesome. I love that. And Laila, great talking to you. Look forward to chatting with you. Always come on and let us know what's new, what's going on with Girls Make Games. And
I would love that.
and don't get too big time, because I'll be like, remember, Laila, you're supposed to come back on and spend some time with us. So
what's really funny, Paul? Your middle name is really memorable. So I remembered Amadeus, and I was like, there's something Amadeus.
Yes.
Does that happen to you? Do people call you Amadeus?
Yeah, they sure do. When I used to be a musician, they used to call me Amadeus. In short, Deus was kind of like the nickname. But yeah,
wow.
that and so when I got into the media field, broadcasting, I just kept it so that I can still have a part of my past.
Oh, that's
part
so
of
cool.
my future. So I kept it there and everything. And
that's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great catching up with you, my friend. Much success and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. It was an honor. It's always really great talking to you.
Pleasure was mine, my friend. Much success.
Take care.
Once again, the awesome Laila Shabir, founder and CEO of Girls Make Games. Make sure you support them. You check them out. And fellas, I saw you over there hating a little bit. Like she said, go to the portal. They can let you know about that curriculum that's going to take place that everyone can take a part of. So check it out. The website, girlsmakegames.com. Go there and check it out. Give them your support. And see that button up there that says donate? Donate something. It's a great cause. Definitely is. All right. Well, in the words of Biff Tannen, Back to the Future, 1, 2, and say it in 3. But I'm going to make it like a tree and get out of here. Until next time, take care of yourself, folks. And make someone smile. Until next time.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus laying in the tech zone.